We definitely need to go. So yeah, for those that don't know what just happened at the start there, JV is just chowing down on some dumpling, and I'm like, you enjoying that dumpling? So yeah, we definitely need to go if it's near pie, definitely. But yes, people, welcome to another edition of the ManDem United podcast on Sarcasm City TV, hosted by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. I'm joined by my fellow co-host, JV. JV, what you telling me?
Yeah, man, good, bro. Busy as always. You get what I'm saying? But, you know, another show, another day, another dollar. Dollar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? Just doing our thing as we do. Ready for this next.
Ready for this next what? Say that again.
Ready for the next show, innit? This one,
Oh, yeah. Ready for, of course, man. We always ready. So, yeah, everybody on your way into the video, if you're watching via the YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. I say this all the time. Hit the like button because it's important you do that. Also, equally as important as that you share it, and also equally as important that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell because we've just hit over 2K as well. You get what I'm saying in that? So we'll be having the 2K party tomorrow, actually. So there'll be the 2K party tomorrow. So we're going to have different people drop in, JV obviously included. I'm going to be wave basically in it. That's what I'm telling you from now. So yeah, it's Yancey's birthday tomorrow as well. So we're tying both of them in. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, salute to everyone who's locked in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, Sarcasm City TV. Hit the notification bell when you do. And obviously, Sarcasm City TV membership is now available also. So Sarcasm City TV membership underneath this video and every other link, it's in the YouTube description. It's right there. But of course, on ManDem United, we continue to bring you stellar guests. I say this all the time. Where do you get lineups better than this? We deliver better lineups on Sarcasm City TV on a daily basis than your barber. And you know what? How I know that is because your barber's is closed. You know what I'm saying? Your barber's is shut right now. So you're not getting lineups like this anywhere else. So this next guest is a guy I know from the battle rap world. Very talented battle rapper. Very talented rapper. And then he went down a whole other lane and he does so much. Like people say, I do a lot of shows. This guy, I see him doing shows. Every time I'm doing a show, he doing a show. You know what I'm saying? So whether he's on radio like us, whether he's doing a reaction video on his YouTube channel, or whether he has stellar guests, like I see him doing everything. Like there's so much to name. I need to ask him because I know there's stuff that I forgot. Welcome him, Don Kovu, to the show.
What's good? What's good? How you doing, sir? You all good?
Man.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a strong minute. We were saying that just before that we've not spoken a minute like this. As obviously on social media we speak, but yeah, man, I'm blessed. How you doing? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've got to say, this is the longest I've actually been away from working properly for this is the longest since birth, since starting school. Yeah. I've been out actually doing my normal 9 to 5 stuff. So this is bizarre. I'm going a little bit insane here in the cave, but good, man. Good, wow. Staying busy, as you said.
Yeah, man, staying busy. So you can catch Kovu. Make sure you follow him across his socials. You can see it there across the bottle. CUBKXVU. You'll catch him on radio. You'll catch him promoting music. You'll catch him doing reaction videos. Cubcam TV, is that right? That's your YouTube channel as well.
I was gonna say, congrats on 2K as well. That's fire, man. Congrats.
Yeah, man. Love for that, man. Appreciate it. And I see you out here. When you be posting, I congratulate you because you out here doing big numbers as well. So it's great to see everybody in this media space working. So yeah, man, that's what it is. Salute to everybody in the comments. We are gonna get to the comments also. Don't worry, we'll get there. Like I said, salute all the Sarcasm City TV members. Salute everyone else. Big up Harris each and every time. Who says gang? You know what I'm saying? Big up Harris. Make sure you retweet it because you're on the Periscope and that. You know what I'm saying? He's on Maguire's case already, which we'll get to. We're gonna get to the whole Harry Maguire thing in it because, like Ollie, Harry Maguire is forever a talking point at this club in it. It seems like it's Ollie, Pogba, Maguire. They're the three in it. Don't matter if they're playing well, if they're not playing well, if they're on the bench, if they're injured. They're all talk. Well, the two players, they're always talking points in it. Glazers out, who's a member, says smash the like button. Big up Monstar in it. I presume. I don't know if that's a fake Monstar. Let me know if it's a fake you or not, so I can give you the proper. You get me, big up. But make sure you subscribe to Monstar CFC in it. Chelsea fan out here doing his thing. We're gonna get him on the channel at some point.
Shout out Monstar, well. Even if that's not the real one. You man are dumb by doing these fake accounts because you're actually giving man free promo. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So unless your thing is to give man promo, then you're doing it wrong. But shout out Monster every time. You know,
shout out Monster. But rather than do that, if you just want to give man free promo, just have it as make sure whatever your name is, and then subscribe to Monster CFC. You get what I'm saying? And there's ways to do it. There's ways to do it. And the thing is just funny about the fake accounts. You said it last time. These are people we know and we can contact. That's like someone coming up with a fake Kovu account on there. I can just hit up Kovu and be like, "Is this you?" And then he's gonna tell me yes or no. You get what I'm saying?
That
like,
happened yet, you know. I'm looking forward to the day it does. That shows you're getting somewhere.
It will happen, innit? When I was on a live stream, shout out Carefree Lewis on doing the Chelsea watch along for their last game, and Lewis goes, "Yo, Flawless, is that you?" In the comments, I'm like, "No." I'm like, "How you gonna try be the fake me when I'm on the stream?" You know what I'm saying? And like, it is what it is. Fake accounts running around and that. But all right, let's get to it. So, of course, the title of the video is the FA Cup Manchester United's best chance of silverware this season? So, Kovu, give us your thoughts on that.
I think the Europa League's the best chance of silverware if they want to push for it. If I'm being entirely honest, I think the problem with the FA Cup is you still have to play Premier League teams, and like obviously we're playing Premier League teams week in, week out. Obviously you've got the travel aspect when it comes to Europe, but the average standard of team in the Europa League isn't as high as the average standard of team in the Premier League, realistically.
Okay.
So if you're going to break it down to a level of the games you're playing on a regular basis, obviously you can play weakened teams in the Europa League, but it depends entirely on what we're going for. If you'd have said to me at the start of the season, top 4 and Europa League win, I'd have snapped your hand off for it. I would have snapped your hand off and gone, yes, I am. That is fully fine for me. I think because of how badly other people have done in the league in general, there's been a lot less consistency among a lot of the other teams, apart from City, since they started badly and now they're on their roll, which I think is Pep's longest winning run ever. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's 14 games in a row. Yeah, something like that.
That's what I saw. I think realistically, if you'd have given us the teams at the start of the season and gone, if you finish top 4 with a Europa League win, I'd have snapped your hand off. If you'd have said top 4 win with an FA Cup win, I'd have still snapped your hand off for it, because I didn't think we'd be in the top 4 position. Realistically,
you didn't think we get top 4? Okay,
I didn't think we'd get top 4. No, not with the. Realistically, the bounce back Leicester seem to have every couple of years. Because every couple of years, Leicester kind of dip out and then they come back, then they dip out and then they come back, they dip out and they come back. And you look at again Spurs, how they started bringing in the forward line they did. I assumed Spurs would be up and challenging, as they were at the start of the season. But I think the FA Cup is. I think the FA Cup doesn't suit United's current sort of setup, because we play in big games. We play very passively. We sit back. We kind of go, okay, this is a game we're happy to draw. We're not used to beating big teams. Bar Liverpool in the last round, we're not used to having to go and beat big teams. Ollie seems to have settled for a thing of, if you don't lose your big 6 games and win all the other games, you'll probably win the league at this season. Realistically, that will probably be
which is true. I hear that.
And that's a traditional thing with United have always had. They've always had this thing of just don't lose the top 6 games, like the big games, and win all the other, and win as many of the other games as possible. Then you'll probably win the league regardless, because they haven't gained points on you. But I don't think the way our club's currently set up, or our first team at least, is set up to beat big teams. It's set up to not lose against big teams, which isn't what cup football's about. Cup football is about winning. And obviously you can look to the counter-attacking stuff. You can look to the sort of solid attack we've got. We've got the most goals in the Premier League. That's all fine, but we will concede goals. And whether we can come back and whether we can come back every single time in the FA Cup, I don't know if the urgency will be there. And obviously, I think tonight against West Ham, it's a huge challenge. Like the way West Ham have been playing, the points they've been accumulating. I don't think this is in any way, shape, or form an easy game.
Oh, it's not an easy game, no. But I don't look at any game Manchester United are playing and think it's an easy game. I don't look at us against any Premier League side. We Sheffield United, prime example. Fulham, I'm saying West Brom. Take whatever team. Southampton have currently lost their last 5 games in the Premier League. If we were playing them next, even though I think we should win, I wouldn't class it as an easy game. So yeah, I get what you're saying. JV, what are your thoughts on it? FA Cup, United's best chance of winning silverware, because Kobe makes some interesting points.
Yeah, no, he does make some very interesting points. To be honest, for me, with the FA Cup, I agree that we just don't seem to suit that competition for some reason. It's like, if we come up against a certain caliber of team in the FA Cup, I don't know if it's that old school giant killing type of thing, but we always seem to, like, we could play a team. All right, then, for instance, we might have just drawn with Everton, but if we was to play Everton in an FA Cup semi-final, they would beat us. Do you get what I mean? If we play them in a league game, we'd probably beat them or draw. We'd be more confident. But it seems like when it gets to what it is actually. I'll tell you what it is.
Time, is that what you're saying?
It's Wembley. It's Wembley. I think we have a bit of a Wembley hoodoo. I know we've won it not too long ago with Van Gaal, but if you really look at us at Wembley, United at Wembley, we don't really seem to perform well. Like, I know we won the League Cup as well, but we just flattered. You know what I mean? We don't look ourselves. Sometimes the occasion, it might be the occasion and the fans. So you never know if we do get to a FA Cup final without the fans being there. I'd actually like to see how that plays in our favour. Do you get what I mean? Because I just always, every time we're at Wembley, like if we get to the FA Cup semi-final or even the final, that day I will be very nervous, and I know it. Okay. I will be very nervous because there's something about United at Wembley. We just don't operate the same. And it's like what Colville said with the big games. The big cup games, we don't approach them the same way. Like, just look at those games. Look at those games. Like, is everyone wants to always throw out the Ole semi-final thing. But if you look at that game, that our last one where we played City in the semi-final, like what? We get beat by them in the semi-final, but we play them in the league and we beat them most times. Like, most of the times we've played City recently, we have the upper hand.
It's been a draw.
City in the league.
It's been a draw or we win. Yeah.
It's
surprising. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but then we play them in a league cup thing, and we lose badly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what? How does that work? And I think it is. I think it's an issue with the players more so than the manager. I think because, as I said, it could even be one of those things for me where you could have the same fixture the week after, and I think we'd beat the team. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like. I'd be terrified of playing anyone apart from like. I'd be terrified of playing any other Premier League team in a FA Cup tie. I actually would be. I don't know what it is about us. We just don't ever look the same in the FA Cup. We just don't. You know what I mean? Like last time we won it, we won that through. I'd say that was the youth. The youthful exuberance of the Rashfords, Lingards, and Martials of this world when they were first coming through. You know what I mean? So I think that's what won it was last time. Because I remember I even seen like a throwback clip today, and it was Rashford against West Ham in the FA Cup, and I was like, oh yeah, do you remember that? Like, I remember that vividly. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me, I think the Europa League, because you can still we could get through to the quarterfinal of the Europa League and play someone like Olympiacos. Do you get what I mean? So I feel a lot more confident. You know where I'm coming from?
That's exactly what I'm saying, man. Like, even though you've got to add the travel aspect in. I mean, there's Premier League games you're going to be traveling for like 6-7 hours anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe not 6-7 hours, but like there's still like 3-4 hours travel time for a lot of Premier League games. Greece is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like
when you point like that's an interesting point.
There's not actually that much difference in the amount of traveling time. It's more just the discomfort of being in a different country, man. Like, I think, I just think that, as I was saying, the quality of teams in Europa League is lower than the quality. Obviously, there's big teams. The Europa League has got consistently better. When you look at like teams like Napoli are regulars in there. AC Milan, who are like top of Serie A now, are regulars in the Europa League. So the general scope of what happens is you tend to get a Champions League team winning the Europa League every season. It's very rare it's not a Champions League team that wins the Europa League. Yeah. But I think at least to get further in, it's going to be less of a grind in the Europa League than it would be in the FA Cup. Obviously, I'd say currently, bar maybe one or two players, I think we've got the squad to challenge for both, but not necessarily win both. I think wholeheartedly, United finishing top 4 with a trophy is a very successful season, whether it be the FA Cup or the Europa League. And I think there should be some level of focus on getting a trophy in Solskjaer's cabinet, because then he can say, I've got a trophy, it's fine. Like, they are going to come slowly but surely. I think it's unrealistic for United to expect to be challenging for the title when you compare the team to City's, when you compare the squad, actual depth of squad, the fact they've got 2 or 3 players that can play in every position. We've got 1 in most, 2 in some. That's my thing on it, man. I think the squad's good enough to challenge, but not necessarily win.
Yeah. I get what you're both saying because you both make interesting points. First, what you were saying, Kovu, about challenging for the league. I've said this for the longest. I believe with a better manager, even if we can't, he's the sole reason this season, with everybody's inconsistencies, which you spoke about in terms of why we can't win the league. Because I believe if we have a better manager, we win this league. Because everyone else, bar Manchester City, is not what they were. All right, Leicester are Leicester. I don't see Leicester as a threat. Liverpool have fell all the way off. You know what I'm saying? And then Chelsea sacked their manager. So that tells you all you need to know. Chelsea are the only other team I put in that bracket where I looked at. I said that squad is very good. It's just, is the manager good enough? And he proved not to be. And Roman decided to let him go. So in terms of is the FA Cup the best chance? The reason why I think the FA Cup is, because if I remember correctly, the Europa League is, I know I'm right in saying this, is two-legged. I trust it less over two legs than I do one. So if the FA Cup was two-legged and the Europa League was one-legged, I'd probably say the Europa League. Obviously, in cup competitions as well, draws is vital because we know the Europa League, the quality isn't that good. That being said, you might draw a better team in there. I'm literally going to check what teams are left in the Europa League. And then even in the FA Cup, it depends on who you draw. Obviously, Liverpool have gone out. City's still in it. City are still in the FA Cup, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Are Chelsea still in the FA Cup as well?
I think Chelsea are, yeah.
Yeah. So say, for instance, we beat West Ham today, and then in the 6th round we get City, and the semi-final we get Chelsea, for instance. Or we get to the semi-final and Chelsea are in the semi-final and City are in the final. That's going to be very tough to win. That's going to be extremely tough to win.
I'm looking through the teams that are still in there, and it's not an easy competition. I may have overstepped on that purely because I'm looking through this. Bigger teams that are currently, we've got Sociedad, you've got Wolfsburg, Tottenham, Olympiacos, PSV, Slavia Prague, Leicester, Young Boys, Leverkusen, Crvena Zvezda, Milan, that's AC Milan. You've got Kiev, Bruges, Braga, Roma, Krasnodar, Zagreb, Lille, Ajax, Benfica, Arsenal, Molde, Hoffenheim, Tel Aviv, Shakhtar Donetsk, Antwerp, Rangers, who I could see doing a number of us with Gerrard at the moment, and then Granada, Napoli, Salzburg, and Villarreal. There's a lot less easy games than that than I thought when I'm actually looking at it. So I may have to retract that now I've actually seen the thing.
Yeah, and that's my point in terms of not only do you have all them teams you mentioned, and I don't know, I need to go and look in depth at how all them teams are performing, but I know a couple of them are performing well. That's over two-legged. Like I said, us with over one legs with the individual brilliance we have. We could beat anyone you just named in that competition. Two legs is a different story where you have to be more consistent. We know we're inconsistent. Where the manager has more pressure on him because you have to. If it's one-legged and you win 1-0, game's done. You through to the next round. You win the home game 1-0. You still have to go away and navigate in a way like to a Rangers, for instance. So I just use them for an example, or Club Brugge, or even a Sociedad who we have next. Whereas the FA Cup I'm looking at today, say we was playing West Ham and it was two-legged, different story. You know what I'm saying? If we're playing them at Old Trafford and then we have to go to their place in a couple of weeks' time, but because it's one-legged, simply that's why I'm like, all right, with the players we have, we suit that. We suit the one-legged thing. We definitely, without question, are more suited to it just because of the players we have. So that's why I look at the FA Cup as the best possible. Possible chance of silverware. That being said, it's on the draw. We might, if we get a tougher draw, like I said, if we draw City and Chelsea, that'd be tougher than drawing two weaker sides in the Europa League. Go on, JV. You're going to say something.
Yeah, no, I was literally just going to say, I can't believe there's not many teams left in the Europa League. When saying them teams, I was waiting for you to stop. I was like,
Same. I was scrolling down and it just kept going.
Yo, fam, the Europa League is the longest known football competition to man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It goes from Group A to like Group Q. You get what I'm saying? There's a round of 32, a round of 32 extra, a round of 16, a round of 16B.
Don't the Scottish champions have to go through like 2 rounds of qualifying, don't they?
Yeah.
Mad.
Which is crazy.
It's mad. I remember when Fulham got to the Europa League final under Hodgson, and literally by the time they got to the final, I think it had been a whole year of football. And I think they did the qualifying round, and it literally been
I'm pretty sure the qualifying round start. Yeah, the qualifying round start like within a week of the previous season.
Pre-season. Like there's times when United have been pre-season, and I've seen, I say a Spurs for instance, and it's that they're playing some team I don't know. And it's like qualifiers. I'm like, qualifiers for what? Like Europa League that soon? Like we only been back to preseason 2 days.
It's a bit mad, isn't it? The amount of extra qualifying you have to do for a competition that's regarded as lower.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so bizarre when you have to do an extra like 3 qualifying rounds. Like there's 1 Champions League qualifying round, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's like 2 or 3 for Europa. I understand, obviously, there's a lot more countries involved in Europa. There's a lot more leagues and teams and sort of just general teams involved, so they have to knock it down a fair bit. But that's a lot. That's a lot of games.
A hell of a lot.
You know what though? One thing I will say with the Europa League, with there being so many rounds left, well, not so many rounds, but so many teams and things like that left.
Sorry, I just wanted to get to. Let me just get to this. Yeah, I know it's a fake Aaron because Aaron would never say this. You get what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about, innit? Man says flawless, your boy. Aaron would never say this to me in life. Bear in mind, I just need to put that out there. Aaron is my guy. You get what I'm saying? We spoke just earlier. I could literally pick him up the phone and get him on the podcast, innit? Even the people, shout out to the mods because the mods are even saying that's some fake Aaron. Monster, I see that you retweeted the tweet as well as the real you. My apologize. As you can see, Monster, though, there's loads of fake accounts running about. So make sure you Monster with it. Sorry to cut you off just to say that, innit? Big up everyone in the comments. We will get to the comments and that. Big up John as well, watching all the way from Singapore and that each and every time. We're not getting into the Parriott and Saliba video. That is not for. That's for Sarcasm City. That's what. That
ain't for here.
That's not for here. That's definitely a for Sarcasm City podcast. Salute.
I don't even know if I want to get into that.
Yo, fam. I'm just very. When it's not often I'm lost for. I'm a talker. It's not often I see something and lost for words and have so many questions and just confused. I didn't get it at all. Why are you filming? Why is man naked to you, next to you? Why is man naked doing that? Why is everybody just walking around like this is not?
Why is everything so casual? Why is everything so casual in that room, bro?
You know,
that's what I don't like. I don't get it.
I was watching Wizzy's stream the other night, and
he
was doing like a big thing on it. And he said something which I haven't actually seen the video. I've just seen people talking about the video. But what he said kind of hit home a fair bit, and it was if that's what they're comfortable walking around doing on camera.
Yes.
Like what's happening? What's happening off camera?
Yes.
Like I haven't seen the video. I don't actually know what happened, but it's I'm gathering it's something a bit off kilt.
Yeah, weird. Bit weird. Like even if that's your preference, it's still weird. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there.
But you know what? The thing is, not everything needs to be filmed and put out. If that's your preference, yes, it's very strange, isn't it? But if that's what you lot enjoy doing, and clearly you just have no qualms with it, cool. Just keep that off camera. What did you aim? What I would love to know what they achieve. What are you looking to achieve there? What's the aim?
I want to know who he sent that snap to. I want to know who he sent that. I want to know who received that snap. That's what I want to know. Who got that snap? You know what I'm saying?
One of the ManDem was missing, fam. You get me? That's what it was. One of the ManDem was missing. Clearly, one of the ManDem was missing, and that one of the ManDem was missing. But we're gonna get to all the comments we had. People, Glazers out. Like I said, he was a member. Says flawless. Will the next transfer window be the biggest and most important one since Fergie left? The Glazers need to put on a 10-10 show to show they care. My thoughts on this is, I think every transfer window's a big one, so I don't think I can't say this is the most important. One thing about Oli, even though I'm not a fan of, I like his transfer windows. What he's done with the squad has been good. I like how he's improved the squad. Was he backed fully in the summer? No. But do I like what the players he brought in? Yeah, he brought in Tellez. Tellez has pushed on Luke Shaw. People say, Donny's not played. There's a reason that Bruno and Pogba's are playing much better because they're playing in training. You get what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. So when you're playing against better players in training, it's going to improve your game rather than playing against a youth player or someone who's not good enough. You get me? Now, Luke Shaw's playing left back, and on the other side, they have Tellez playing left back. So Wan-Bissaka might be up against Tellez in training rather than a Brandon Williams or a youth player. He's playing a full Brazilian international. So, yes, I like it. Minus Dan James, I pretty much like all Oli signings. You lot who've watched this regular know how I feel about Harry Maguire. Is he exceptional? No. But I don't believe he's anywhere near as bad as people make out. Adding the fact next to Victor Lindelof as well doesn't help him. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into that. Go on, JV. Let you answer Glazers Out's question.
Yeah, I agree with you. Will this window be the one? I agree. Every window is important. One thing I will say though is this next window could be crucial in terms of, if you look at the Premier League landscape at the moment, Chelsea have had that big investment. I don't think Chelsea will spend again. I think he will work with what he's got. He might bring in one player,
1 or 2 players,
one or two.
I mean, I think can't work with that. Then
yes.
You look at the squad that the players he's brought in there. Potential and sort of what we already know of them is arguably stronger than the spree they did when Mourinho, like just before Mourinho came in. Like the player for player, what they've brought in is arguably stronger. Yeah. And then obviously Jose went and won the league with them. And these are more, I don't want to say more established, but these are players that are more kind of notably players that would fit into the majority of, that would get into the majority of teams worldwide prior to them coming to Chelsea. I feel, and I just find it bizarre. Not that Lampard lasted so long, but there was such a thing of like, it takes time to gel. But Chelsea have always been like that. They've always been a team that will go and just buy 3 or 4 important players. Yeah, I agree with that. And adding the fact as well, the rumor I heard that he was just adamant on getting Declan Rice in, and that's one of the things that annoyed the board. And I looked at that team and been like, you need Declan Rice to make this work. I've said this, I'm not a big fan of Declan Rice like that. Every time I don't watch West Ham week in, week out, but every time I see him play, I don't see anything spectacular. I don't see a 70, 80, 90 million pound player. I don't see a Chelsea player trying to challenge for Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. I know people talk about United as a DM. United need a DM, which I agree we do. I don't look at Declan Rice and look at you and think you're the answer. I look at Chelsea side, you don't get in that 11. You don't get in ahead of Kovacic, Jorginho, or Kante to me. If you give me the options out of those 4, I'm picking him last. But yeah, go on, JV.
Here's the thing with that Rice thing. Honestly, if this guy comes to United, yeah, this same man who loves to grill Maguire, yeah, do you know how they would be when this guy comes on the pitch and he's because here's the thing, I'm not having it that any of you Declan Rice fans who are not West Ham fans watch this guy match in, match out. I don't care. I'm not having it.
I admit that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I admit that.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that all day. I've not watched him, but when I have, I've not seen anything, untoward. Like, I've not seen like, wow, yeah, there's no wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I must have seen him play, I think that last match, and he whipped in a cross, and I was like, oh, you see that cross? And I'm like, bro, it's a cross. Like, it's a cross. I'm not expecting my defensive midfielder to cross. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not going to impress me. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like if someone said to me, oh, your left back can't do 30-yard bangers in the top corner. Well, I don't expect it to. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, fully. It's fully. You get what I mean? It's not what I want him there for. So for me, when I watch Rice,
different roles. There's different roles for different things. Like there's certain things you want your players to do. Like I don't want my striker to be an absolutely exceptional tackler. Like I'm not really fussed about that.
No, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's not what he tracks back good. Yeah, okay. I want to see how he shoots. You know what I'm saying? How does he shoot? You know what I'm saying? Like that is what man's called a striker because he strikes the ball. Good.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I've got one which I ask a lot of people on a similar topic. Would you prefer, as United fans, this is a really bizarre one for us to answer, but would you prefer fullbacks who are exceptional defensively and okay going and like fine going forward, or exceptional going forward and fine defensively?
I would prefer what we have now, because to me that question is United or Liverpool. That's how I will see it.
Yeah, pretty much.
What we have now, simply because I've not seen Wan-Bissaka get put on toast by like Burnley.
Dwight McNeil.
Upcoming Burnley wingers. You know what I'm saying? Man who United released because they weren't good enough. Let's get this right. He was released from United because he wasn't deemed as good enough. But he's putting your generational guy on toast. You know what I'm saying? Man's testing out new moves from what he's done brother in the back garden. That was some little brother back garden skills there.
Yeah. I've done that. I've done that to my little brother still. I'm not going.
You know what I'm saying? I tell you right now, my kids are playing in the playroom right now. When I cut through to the kitchen after this, I will do a little flick over their head or something. You know what I'm saying? That's that type of same energy that I got from McNeil when he did that to my man. So for me, if we're really talking about defenders, it's in the name. Like I said with the strikers, your strikers need to strike for ball. Your defenders need to defend. Your midfielders need to control the middle of the field. Do you know what I'm saying? It's in the name. Your goalkeepers need to keep goals from going in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm on. I'm on like.
Man said your midfielders need to control the middle of the field.
You know what I'm saying? It's in the name, flawless. These man try to amalgamate every position, and no, bro, I don't care. Look at Maldini, bro. Look if I say arguably one of the greatest defenders in the world, yeah.
I think he's the greatest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Maldini.
Do you get what I'm saying? But Maldini going forward, yeah, he could go forward and he could be effective. He wasn't Roberto Carlos, yeah. No. If I tell you now we've got a team and you've got a pick and you're down to your last two, and I go Maldini at left back or Roberto Carlos at left back, I'm gonna go with Maldini.
I'm going Maldini.
Do you get where I'm coming from? Because his job is to defend. If my team, if I now for this team if I'm playing 3 at the back and I need a wing back, I go for Roberto Carlos. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's where it's one of them. It depends what suits certain teams. But for me, as much as these men are crying out Trent this, Trent that, I think right now, they would prefer that Trent was a better defender than he was going forward.
Oh yeah. Because the thing is, recently, multiple goals they've conceded have come from Trent and defensive lapses. Yes, you want your fullbacks to be an outlet going forward, but it's not the primary objective. You said it there.
Defender is the right word. Outlet is the right word.
You want to be an outlet.
Not your first and foremost, not your primary. I find the concept of your fullbacks being your primary sort of form of delivery. I find that crazy. I've always found it works for some people and it works for some teams, and that's fine. There's certain players that are exceptional at it, but I've never thought your fullbacks, what you should be looking for is their attacking prowess over their defensive ability. Join in going forward, get involved going forward. Look at example of this Gary Neville. The guy got like 4 assists max a year. He was still involved in every attack, but he wasn't banging. He was still involved, and he was still doing the overlaps and playing in and doing all everything like you'd expect a right back to do. But his assists were like 3-4 a season, maybe 6 at one point. But he was still competent going forward, and he was credited with being competent going forward, but being often given that title of best right back in the Prem because of how good he was defensively. Yes. And you look at all of the options for left back, like the best left backs. You look at Irwin, you look at Ashley Cole, competent going forward, involved going forward, often score goals, can be classy going forward, can beat a man, all that stuff. But their main thing is how good they are defensively. And I find it bizarre that's not like the general consensus, or it seems to be shifting away from that.
But Kovu, you know why you find that bizarre is because you're not recency biased. Because what happens is, as soon as a team gets to the top and they're successful, not everybody, a lot of people automatically assume that's the only way to be successful. So because Liverpool had the success with just attacking fullbacks, Robertson's better going forward than he is defensively. Trent is better forward. Like, okay, that's the way to go. Rather than saying when it's not working, you see the deficiencies. Like JV said it. Yes, we laugh because it's hilarious the way he put it, but it's true. I want my defender first and foremost to defend. That's why he's called a defender. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's called a striker. How does he strike the ball? Goalkeeper, keep the goal. It sounds silly when we put it like that, but that's the key in the title. And
there's 11 people on the pitch at the end of the day.
Yes.
There's 11 people on the pitch.
There we go. If my attack's not good enough going forward, I'm not looking at my right backs and left backs. I'm looking at my strikers and my attacking players, my attacking midfielders, because you're supposed to sort that out. Yeah, go on, fam.
And here's this. This is what the whole thing I don't get about it. Just the deepness. So a man's got 2 players who start at the other side of the pitch. Yeah? These men start at the other side of the pitch and they're responsible for what goes on at the front of the pitch. Makes no sense. I'm telling you right now, every Liverpool fan, I don't care, you would prefer if Wijnaldum or someone else in that midfield would have more assists and goals. If Wijnaldum had exactly half the assist from Robertson and half the assist from Trent, Liverpool are not in this trouble, what they are in now, because they would have another outlet. They would have somewhere else for it to come from. I've said throughout all of their thingy, their great times, that team, and I said it and I'll stand by it, I've always said it was always a few injuries away from disaster.
Yeah, it was.
You did say literally. I remember you saying this from a third eye.
It's literally molded. It's molded not even to the positions, but it's molded to the identical players. Not identical. It's molded to the specific players. Do you get what I mean? Their way of playing is molded to having a Van Dijk at centre.
Like you can name their first team instantly.
Yeah,
you can name what their best first team is.
Yeah, it's more their style of play. Trent, it's molded to having Robertson. If you remove one of those players, it's not the same. Whereas if you look at Pep, yeah, and this is one thing you can always give Pep his credit for. Pep can go right now, yeah. Pep could look at someone in his squad and he could put them in a totally different position, but it would work because you have a specific role. It's not that this right back role is not down to your personal attributes. It's down to what I want you to do. Whereas in Liverpool's team, their team works down to personal attributes. That's why when they've not got someone who can swing in crosses like Trent, they're in trouble. When they've not got someone who can do a Salah or Mane job, they're in trouble. Do you know what I'm saying? When look at just all right then. We know how big Van Dijk is for them. Yeah. But I'll put it to you like this: there's been many a season where we had a Vidic or a Rio out for a long time. Yeah, but it crumbled because the style of play wasn't suited just to Rio. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the style of defensive play wasn't
it was
suited.
an ethos. It was an ethos rather than like a job spec. Essentially,
yes,
ethos rather than a list of jobs.
That's what it is. Like literally, there, and this is what I've always said about their team. It's too molded to the actual individual player. Because if all these players, like, all right then, if what some people are saying is true now about Liverpool, if they are now in a decline, they're in very big trouble because they need to go and write out a whole new plan. Because if Trent, all right, I'll put it to you like this: Trent's still very young, but if he gets an injury and his legs ain't the same, yeah, what are they doing? Do you know what I'm saying? Same goes for Robertson. If Van Dijk comes back now and he's lost some pace, that doesn't work. Do you get what I'm saying? Henderson runs himself into the ground all the time. If he now starts developing injuries from all of that, what are they doing there? Do you know what I'm saying? Salah and Mane, I think, are now not at the end of their peak, but I think they're at that peak.
Yeah, they are prime. Not that they can't get better, but they are nearer the decline than they are the growth. Growth. They're nearer the decline than they are the growth.
Yes, they're not. You know what it is? I'd actually say I don't think they're going to get better. I think that's what it is now. It's a plateau.
This is it.
This is it. And then it will drop off. Do you
know what's mad about that, JV, as well, is minus Trent. That's the majority of their first 11. Their better players are all either going into their peak years or in their peak years. Everybody, I think, is 26, 27 or plus. You get what I'm saying? Minus Trent. You look at Robertson, Van Dijk, Henderson, the front three. You know what I'm saying? Thiago, who they've just brought in. Everybody's like that.
When you put it like that, it's really bizarre that they're now all their players are in their kind of peak years, realistically. Trent, the majority of their players are in the position where they're going to be the best they can be, and yet they're on the decline.
But you know what happened, though? This happens all the time, and you'll know this, Kovu, because you've been watching football as long as we have, in terms of, it's either, I say this all the time, it's easier to be the hunter than it is to be the hunted. You know what I'm saying? When you're the reigning champions, you're now the team to beat. We remember it as Manchester United teams. You're now the team to beat. Yes, big up Kovu and that. You know what I'm saying? Out there, OT and that. I can't wait to get back. But yeah, teams, you're now the big scout. Look at how Watford beat Liverpool last season. You're the big scout. You know what I'm saying? And also, teams figure out a way to play against you. There's now a game plan against you to stop you. And this is why Fergie's the GOAT, because he played so many different formations and systems over a period. Like, all right, this isn't working anymore. Let me switch this up. And then United will win 3 leagues on a bounce. Or we'll win a back-to-back or win a Champions League or whatever. Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, and then here's the thing. This is what, when it comes to, the teams like that, and when you look at Liverpool now, and you literally look at it and you think they need probably the most investment. This takes me back to my original point. I think to do with the transfer window, I think this is where United could capitalize now because we don't need as much investment as everyone else. This is what I'm trying to say. City, I think City need an investment just to replace the Aguero factor. We all know my man can do his false nine. We all know Pep can do his false nine. He could probably win another league doing false nine. Let's not get it twisted. But I'm telling you, if he had a talisman,
if he had a fit Aguero, basically, he's playing.
Yeah. If he had a fit Aguero, yeah. Imagine, all right, but here's what I'm trying to say. Imagine he had a young Aguero. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's a wrap. Yeah.
It's a wrap. So I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to go look for that now. Because as much as Aguero's going to come back every time after this injury, and he's not going to be the same. Do you get what I mean? But
they're in for Lukaku, aren't they?
I'm hearing this. Yes.
I can see it. The way Lukaku got shafted out of United and got pushed to the side, I can see him going to City the same way Tevez did, and I can see him causing an absolute ruckus.
I could see him going to City, not that other way around. So him going to City makes perfect sense. Why would you not go there? You're pretty much guaranteed to win trophies. You're going to play under Pep as an attacking player. You're going to score goals. I just don't see Lukaku fitting into what Pep tries to do in that. When
I do,
really? You know what it is? I think I can see what he'll do. He'll do. You know what he'll do with him? He'll do tap-ins. He'll do tap-ins with him. He'll do. Now, honestly, he'll do how you see when they did us when it was at 6-1. Yeah. And Dzeko was just that guy. Yeah. That's what it will be. He will be their new Dzeko. And I can see it very much because he will just be in and around the box. If you really watch City right now, they just need someone, a proper look at all the chances like Jesus misses. If they have someone,
is what I was gonna say.
Just and here's the problem what we had. We tried to involve Lukaku too much in build-up.
Entirely. 100%.
You get him on the end of a chance. On the end of a chance.
He'll score. Because he's a goal scorer.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No doubt
that's
about
what I'm saying.
I just think because how Pep looks, I know regardless of whether you're a centre half there, a fullback, a striker, he likes players who are very technically sound. Yes, Lukaku would score a barrel load of goals there, no doubt about it, because Lukaku's a goal scorer. I just don't see him looking at Lukaku and going, "This is for me." I personally cannot see that happening. I just can't see him going there.
I think
I know what you mean.
I think if you watch Inter Milan and the way he plays at Inter Milan, and there's a thing about when people say like technical, like technical ability or whatever. If you're a centre forward, you don't need to be involved in all the sort of technical play. You don't need to do all that. You just need to be able to get it to your feet. You don't even need this thing of a first touch. You don't even need your first touch to be the most important thing. What you need is to either shoot first time or be running on to goal. Now, we know Lukaku can play back to goal. We know he is exceptional in the air. Think about how many chances City are able to create from the wide positions, how good their wide players are. We know he's exceptional in the air. He goes to City. I would be surprised if he scored less than 25 Premier League goals. I would be surprised.
Oh, no. I think he'd get 30.
No. I think I would score 15 playing up top for them because I'm no striker in it.
This is why Jesus is one of the worst strikers in the league for me.
Yes, you know what? You are preaching to the choir. I say this all. I was on a Straight Jacket podcast. Shout out to United, Saeed, United Central, Aaron Norton, and we was going back and forth on this. And I said this. I'm always on Jesus' case, and yes, it was banter. But then when I started to look at
Callum Wilson scores 20 in that City team. Yes. Callum Wilson bags 20.
Bamford and all them man were absolutely smashing.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I was going to say there's a comment that's just popped up, which is a really interesting point, saying Lukaku plays with KDB and Hazard for Belgium. So he's used to playing with KDB. Those two have made Lukaku the top scorer of all time for Belgium.
And
also, Belgium are not Manchester City either. You get what I'm saying? And as much as I hate to praise it, like a KDB at Belgium is not the same KDB you're going to get out of Manchester City.
That's true.
Because it's not Pep. You get what I'm saying? And that Martinez, yes, good manager. He's not Pep. Like, let's get that mistaken in it. Like, Pep is very specific and very meticulous. This is why I don't, when Lukaku and Haaland have been linked, I'm just like, I'm not saying you wouldn't be good at City, because I think most strikers will be. They just don't seem to me fit what Pep wants to do. But it's going to be interesting anyway.
Though, like, there are only... I've just seen the comment pop up. There's this such a thing to say. But yeah,
he's right. I agree with this, but go on.
I don't think you need a super specific striker for City. I think you need just someone who will score goals.
Yeah.
You look at that team, the amount of chances they create. They don't need an extra they don't need someone to like do more of a job than just score. They don't need an extra piece of the puzzle. What they need is the finishing product. So you look at sort of the strikers that, like, Aguero is a technically sound player in every sort of field he goes into, but his main thing is he will finish chances. Like, he's not known for his like super in-depth build-up play. They don't need that. What they need is someone in the box causing a nuisance to score. And if we say this, they don't need it. We see how well they're doing without a striker. You put a striker in that team, and they suddenly have this one additional. You put this one additional outlet in there. I don't think you need a super specific striker. I think you just need a competent striker. to do the job.
I hear that. Yo, big up to everyone who's locked in. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Mods, let us know how many likes we on. Get everyone sharing. Continue to subscribe to the channel. Also, Sarcasm City TV. United says, yo, this is a good channel, but the thumbnails need to improve. We're working on that. I'm only one person, but yes, we will be getting new thumbnails within, I don't know, the next 4 to 6 weeks, but there's a lot going on in it. So it's like, yo, I agree with you. Appreciate the constructive criticism also. But yeah, we'll continue to do that. We got over 40 people watching across all platforms. So make sure you subscribe and that. Let me see what I've missed. I know I've missed so many comments. Big up my dumb Manny each and every time. Manny, good vibes. Make sure you subscribe to him over there. Big up Dupe who says big up to the panel. Also, get into all the questions I can, people. Like I said, the Sarcasm City TV membership is now available also, and it's underneath. The link for it is underneath this video. Big up Daniel, who says, why United back so soon? Laughing my ass off. I'm tired. I think we all are after the Everton game. I think we all are. And I will speak on it because that's caused so much talking points. And Manchester United are always a big talking point. Whether we win 9-0, lose 9-0, draw 1-1, draw 0-0, our game is postponed. We are always a talking point. And everyone's talking about Harry Maguire for the last goal. And I'm going to get everyone's thoughts on this. I'm going to just give mine quickly. Yes, Harry Maguire is at fault for the last goal. Definitely, without question. That being said, playing next to Victor Lindelof doesn't help him at all. Not only the fact is Lindelof not a good foil for him. That's one. Like, Lindelof's just not a good foil for him. And it seems everybody bar Ollie can't see that. Two, he is the most passive centre-back I can remember seeing at this club. Whether a centre-back's been good enough, I don't think Rojo was good enough. One thing about Rojo was he was very confrontational. He was always there, whether he's making a mistake or not. Maguire, I put in that bracket as well. Whether it's his mistake or not, he's always around. Like, you look at the Rodriguez goal, the second one. Who's the closest person to blocking it? Maguire. Who's playing everybody on side for the third goal? Maguire. Lindelof is never, ever around. And if you don't believe me, people, I got to big up JV because JV's been saying this for a year. And I'm like, yo, why are you so harsh on Lindelof? And it wasn't only up until recently, the FA Cup game when we played Liverpool. And we on From a Third Eye View on Pi Radio. Make sure you check it out. There's a playlist for that as well. We started slowing down YouTube videos and watching goals back. And a lot of the time, Lindelof will put himself in a position where he's not making, where it looks like he's not making a mistake. Why are you never there when you're the centre back? We're conceding 3 goals a game and you're not in the picture. What is going on? Yes, there's other mistakes. For the first goal, De Gea made a mistake. Shaw should have watched Decore, for example. But what? Lindelof also made a mistake. Stop running back, etc. Colby, we'll go to you. Give us your thoughts on Maguire, because obviously he's a talking point, as well as Lindelof and just the defense as a whole.
It's an interesting one on this one because I think in regards, I think you get different types of defenders and defenders work in partnerships. And that's something, it's the only position on the pitch which is reliant on a partnership. Realistically, you've got fullbacks and you've got overlapping. Defensive partnerships are the only position on a pitch that are partnerships the entire time. That's just what it's. Sometimes you have 3 players and the third's the sweeper. You always have 2 that are in partnership that are in control of what's going on. You have 2 or 3 different types of defenders. You've got your sort of controlling defenders, you've got your more aggressive defenders, and then you've got your more sort of speedy sweeper defenders. If we're just going to put them into sort of 3 individual brackets, for me, Lindelof and Maguire are the same bracket of defender because Lindelof is a passive controlling type of defender. He's someone who will sit back, watch what's going on. The issue with what our defense currently has is we have 2 overseers. We don't have someone. Maguire is an overseer. He is your controlling defender. He is your sort of last line. He is your big sort of rock. Lindelof is that position. He's just nowhere near as good as Maguire. So he has to kind of do the other jobs of a centre-back partnership, which he's not necessarily that good off. That's why Bailly looks so good next to him, because he does the quick, the more aggressive, the sweeper kind of role. He fills everything that Maguire can't do. That's why they look a lot better. Now, there are better defenders than Bailly out there. If we were to go and get a solid, aggressive, pacey centre-back, that would solve so many of our issues, like instantaneously.
Definitely.
And I think the issue is what we're doing is we're playing 2 defenders that are too similar in what their skill sets are, but Maguire's skill set in general is higher. So what it looks like, it looks super unbalanced, and it doesn't really make sense as a partnership. But I don't know if Ollie can't see what Bailly offers or whether he has some sort of loyalty to.
He doesn't have a loyalty to Lindelof. That's weird. He
does have a. He has loyalty to certain players.
Scandinavian bias with Lindelof. I'm telling you,
Scandinavian
bias. Swear to you. Because for me, I've said that. No, go on, finish. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think the reason I was at my personal opinion on it is in regards to the last goal we conceded. I think that goal's entirely on Ollie.
Okay,
and my reason for it is if you've got sort of 3 minutes left to play, and you bring on a centre back to play in what then becomes a back three, you are essentially asking that new centre back, to go and win the ball. That's what you're asking him to do. You're saying, go and just get in the way. That's what your job is. That is Sunday league levels of defensive management. If you bring a defender on that late on, they don't have time to bed in. They don't have time to find a position, find a marker. Their job is to literally go and win the ball. So when you're Tuanzebe in that position, not that experienced in the general playing of the game, realistically, it's your first thing. It's your first sort of introduction to the game is someone running at you. And in your head, your job is just get it and get rid of it. That is literally what's in your head. Obviously, you're going to give away a foul. Obviously, that free kick didn't need to happen if Ollie had just stuck with what was going on. That defensive substitution was meant to be a kind of get an extra man in the way. But by doing that with an inexperienced defender in that scenario, I think that's what's cost it, because Tuanzebe was always going to be rash in that situation. He's got a minute and a half on the pitch, and he's pretty much been told, go and get in the way. I think that falls entirely on Ollie mismanaging players. That for me is when you would bring on that for me is when you would bring on Tellers and you push Shaw inside. Right.
Yeah, or even Matic, even Matic,
someone who is an experienced defensive player who knows, don't give away set pieces. We are bad from set pieces, and this team are good from set pieces. The worst thing we could have done in that situation was give away a set piece that late on, because it was always going in. Always going in.
Yeah.
It's mad. Go on, JB. Give us your thoughts on the goal. Obviously, Maguire, Lindelof, we already know your thoughts on De Gea as well, which we are going to get onto also. But yeah, go on. Well, I'm going to get onto De Gea anyway, but go on.
Here's the thing as well. A brilliant point was just made in regards to Ollie doing that so late on. I'm sure, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure they tell you when you're defending a set piece, do not change your defense. Yeah. So when late on, you're not supposed to. The rule is when you're defending late on, you're not supposed to change your defense because you're disrupting. So if you really think about it, even if this is on 70 minutes, 60 minutes, and you change to a back three, it's going to take how many minutes to adjust? Yeah. So you know you have X amount of minutes left, which is a small amount of minutes. You're changing the way your team is going to defend, but you want them to defend better. That makes no sense. It would have made more sense to do that to the midfield and then just tell Matic, drop it. Do you know what I mean? If you change the midfield or whoever they take off, because it wasn't a defender they took off anyway. So even if they do bring on Matic and you just tell him, drop back in, grab someone, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Control the game. It would make more sense if you say to Matic, get the ball, you just, let's see it out.
Stand in the way.
Stand in the way.
Stand in the way.
Do you get what I mean? So see out the game. Pass it around. It's a few minutes. Go get it in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
See out the game. Yes. See out the game.
That is a bit of managerial inexperience. But my whole flames right now is Lindelof, because...
Go on, fam. I know you've been waiting for this.
It's not even... You know what it is, bro? It's time and time again I've been saying it. And at one point I was thinking, am I being too harsh on this guy? But
I thought you was. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta give you a flower, because when you was going, I'm like, why are you he's played bad? But I'm like, why? But the more like I said, since we've started slowing down YouTube videos of goals United have conceded, whether he's 90% at fault or 10% at fault, he always seems to be at fault, and it's something where he's not trying to even the pass. So, for instance, the first goal, I can't remember who passed it for Everton, and Calvert-Lewin slipped in behind Maguire. Why is Lindelof out wide, trying to deal with Richarlison, tuck in, and let the easy pass go out to Richarlison? Because we get caught in the transition. But go on.
But that's what I'm saying. He does this thing where he puts himself in a position where he looks as if he's doing something.
Yes.
That's what he does. And as much as everyone wants to blame Maguire, when we slowed it down yesterday, if you really deep it, Maguire has played everyone on side because he can see 3 players unmarked. He can see three Everton players unmarked. Yeah. So instinctively, he stepped. So as much as everyone, when you look back in hindsight, you can blame him. But when you actually look at the whole scenario, it's like, okay, You're telling me he had 3 players in front of him. Yes, it would have been the smartest thing would have been to go and try play him offside. But then if he does that and times it wrong,
he looks like more of a dickhead.
Do you get what I'm saying? So he's
realistically.
You get what I mean? And this is what I always say to Maguire. Lindelof leaves Maguire in a position where he has to then gamble. Yeah? And here's the thing. If Maguire actually had the pace when he has to do these gambles, he'd pull a lot of them off.
Yeah.
He gets himself in the way. And that if you look at that, what I've just described there, that's Baye. Baye has the pace.
Entirely.
So he can analyze the danger. He can then throw himself in front of it. Do you get what I mean?
Which he will do. He will throw himself
Which he
literally. He'll throw himself knee first in front of a truck.
Yeah.
Like,
do you get what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
And that's what that's the difference. Lindelof is, to me, it's not even passive, you know. Now I'm looking at it, it's like, you're a bit of a pussy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even want, like, he's one of the man, you know, like, if it's Sunday League and you come off without a mud on you, it's like, well, where have you been? Do you know what I'm saying?
I've got
vibes I get from him. I actually get the vibes from him. Like, this is just, you know, I think football for him is a job. I don't know if he likes it, or I don't know if the pressure, or I don't know if United's too much, but he doesn't look like someone who will die on the pitch for you. He doesn't look like someone who'll get a, sorry. He doesn't even look like someone who'll get a bloody nose for you. Never mind. Like, there's certain players, centre-backs we've had, who will come off, if they had to lose a finger to win a game, these men will lose. If you said to them, you have to lose your finger to win this game, these men would actually give you the hand. Do you get what I'm saying? They would go the other step. Whereas with Lindelof, I always get the feeling, it's like, if I can get away today with doing the least and look as if I've not been bad, that's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I need my centre back to die on the pitch for the team. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I need man to put everything in. He's literally not. And everyone, please be on Lindelof watch. Next show, I want to see you, man. Yeah, I want you to tell me how many times Lindelof messed up, because I'm on Lindelof watch from year.
But the thing is, with Lindelof, it's not him messing up; it's him not being there to mess up.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I think I actually think it's not one of them where he can't read it defensively. I actually think he does it on purpose. There's some defenders who can't read the game, who are just not that way inclined.
Yeah. He's definitely got the football brain.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Got the football brain.
I think he sees the danger, and I think he goes the other way. He sees the danger and he goes, yeah, not today, mate. Harry, you're 80 mil. You're 80 mil, Harry. I'm only 30. You deal with that, yeah? You know what I'm saying? That 50 mil difference should cover us. No, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I'm the 90 mil player and the guy next to me was a free transfer. We will both do the same job. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think he looks at Maguire, and I said this last night on Third Eye View. I think he kind of looks at Maguire like big brother type, like, you'll protect me, you'll sort me out. No, you're out there on your own, and that's why. Honestly, that's why when Maguire is always next to him, Maguire is always the one who's getting clipped and memed and this and that. But if you actually then look at these Maguire clips, it's like, so where's Lindelof though? That's because if you always watch it, Maguire's trying to cover 2 areas, or he's stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because he's always getting isolated. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of times Maguire's done wrong, but for me, if you really deep the whole situation and not just the meme. So what man need to do next time a Maguire meme comes out, going back to this match and get the clip, and you'll see there's a point where he's been left. Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of when you play Ultimate Team and your team just aren't listening, and one of your defenders just ain't there.
Yes, that's what Lindelof's that guy.
I'm playing FIFA because of that.
Lindelof's that guy who's playing centre back with you, who always just wants to dribble, who always just wants to wander. The man just you just see the marker, just, you know what I'm saying? You see them and then before you know it, a ball comes in, and it's a 2-on-1, or it's this and that, or even if it's a 1-on-1. Like, for me, Maguire should be the one who goes first. Maguire should be the one who steps out, and there should be someone in behind him. That's how
pace. That's what it is. He should go and attack the ball, and then there should be one for the pace. And we're not saying, again, because people are getting mistaken in the comments, we're not saying that Maguire is faultless and hasn't been at fault. Yes, he's made mistakes. Yes, for the third goal, Maguire is mostly at fault. But what we're saying is, a lot of the time Maguire is making mistakes. He is not getting any help. The same way people will talk about Ollie and say he doesn't have the best possible platform to succeed because of the owners, because of the board. That is true. And that adds to him not being good enough at his job. But also on the pitch, it happens. You get what I'm saying? And that it's like being a striker and your number 10's dead. You're not getting anything from him. He's not playing no through balls. He's not good enough. That's going to impact you. What we're saying is Lindelof's lack of quality is hindering Maguire because they're not a good fit anyway. Even if Lindelof was better, the fact that neither of them have pace doesn't help it. And then what we're saying is that Lindelof never, ever seems to be there. But yeah, what I don't like is that Maguire gets all the smoke. At least he's trying to prevent things. Yeah. Maguire's, whether he's at fault or not, at least the effort is there. I don't even see the effort from Lindelof. I can't remember the last time we're conceding a goal and Lindelof's the closest to the person who's putting it in. Why are you never there is my issue. If you do still shots of goals we concede, put it this way, Calvert-Lewin scored the goal, the equalizer. Who did Calvert-Lewin run off? Victor Lindelof. Why are you not the closest defender next to him? Whether you think Maguire's good enough or not, I don't understand why Lindelof doesn't get his smoke. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Maguire, if you think Maguire's bad, cool. Lindelof's bad though. Why is it because Maguire was worth because he got paid for, he was bought for 80 million? That's not his fault. This is why I don't think you can judge players on their price tags. I think it's such a ridiculous thing.
No.
I've always found it a ridiculous thing because that's not what the player asked for. The player didn't ask for the price tag. You know, the price tag was agreed based on what they're going to be worth in the future. Realistically, that's what it's based off at the moment.
Yeah,
it's based off resale value. So,
and then here's the thing with Maguire. What people always don't understand, because I'm saying, don't you remember the time Maguire did this and Maguire did that? Yes, this is what.
And sorry to cut you off, JV. If you go back and watch shows, me and JV have criticized Maguire. We criticize as is Kovu on this show. Yes, he's at fault, but what I'm saying is he's not solely at fault. The same way that people who are ollie in like to blame the board and blame other things and blame the owners for Ollie's not being good enough and etc. not being back fully is this the same thing we're talking on the pitch as well. You know what I'm saying? Lindelof doesn't help Maguire. How many times does Maguire make a mistake and Lindelof bails him out? All right, how many times does Maguire make a mistake and Bailly will bail him out? Or Shaw will bail him out? Or Wan-Bissaka will bail him out? Like, that's what we're saying is he's not. And adding the fact as well, is he's been playing next to Lindelof, who's not good enough. He's been playing next to Shaw, who, yes, up until recently has been playing well, but Shaw wasn't like this last season, and also no DM, and also a goalkeeper who wasn't playing well either. So he's got a goalkeeper behind him who's not playing well, a centre back who's not good enough, a left back who's playing for poorly, and no DM. That's four. That's the four players around you, to your left, to your right, in front of you, and behind. But Maguire's all at fault is what I don't get. But go on.
No, and this is what people don't understand. That plays into your mindset. So then when you see this cross coming over, and you might be saying, he tackled Shaw that time, probably because he knew Shaw weren't on it. So he has to compensate. This is what man don't understand. If I've got you on my left side, you on my right side, and you behind me, and then you in front of me who are not doing their thing, I have to now overcompensate. Yes. I have to do 2 months worth of jobs. Do you get what I'm saying?
And what the problem is, somebody said in the comments, he's not good enough to be doing that, but at least he's trying, is what I'm saying. He's not good enough to be doing 3 people's jobs because he's not that good. But at least he's trying to do it. He's like, Lindelof's not on it. Let me go and win this ball. Should he have pulled down Shaw? Absolutely not. But we've seen Shaw make mistakes. Shaw was at fault for the first goal. Decore ran off him, but no one's talking about it. Had Decore ran off Maguire, that's all we're talking about.
Exactly.
De Gea dropped the ball for that first goal. No one's mentioning it. What I don't like is that it's solely always on Maguire. When Maguire makes a mistake, criticize him, cool. But when Shaw makes a mistake, Shaw was at fault for the goal we conceded that knocked us out of the semi-final. No one's speaking about it. In fairness,
on the Shaw point, Shaw's had 4 years of constant criticism, though. let's be real. Shaw's had 4 years of it's all on him. You need a new left back. 4 years.
That being said, he's improved and people have praised him this season, which is cool. Exactly. But I don't like. But then when he's made mistakes, as of recent, no one's mentioning it. Like the Decore one, I didn't realize Decore ran off him. Let Decore run off Maguire for a goal that De Gea dropped. We're not talking about De Gea. We're talking about why is he run off him.
No one should be above criticism.
I like to be fair across the board. Maguire deserves the criticism, but you man act like if you take him out of our team and put him in, that will solve all the issues. Yes, is he a problem? Yes. Has he made mistakes? Yes. Is he the sole problem? Absolutely not.
I reckon if you put Lindelof in a West Ham or a Villa, he looks like double the defender.
No.
I reckon he does.
I think if you put him in there, you can't tell the difference. You don't know. You don't know he's coming from a big team. I think he'd go to there and he'd struggle because he'd be expected. Look at how. Watch tonight. You watch how these West Ham defenders defend. These will be all over you. Yeah, these will be all over you like cheap ketchup, fam. Do you know what I'm saying? This guy will go there and be so passive. Do you know what I'm saying? Man will be headers in. You imagine him trying to do training with Antonio. Antonio would eat him every time. Eat him. These men would eat him up every time.
To be fair.
Do you get what I mean?
See,
because
Forney says here, sorry to cut you off. Why does Maguire need a fast centre back to babysit?
That's a partnership. That's what a partnership is.
Yeah, I was going to say this because he's not quick, and that's not Maguire's fault that he's not quick. That's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? It's
Most
not like
of the best defenders in history aren't quick, but they have a system that works.
Yeah, Vidic wasn't the quickest, but he had Rio next to him who was the quick one. You get what I'm saying? And that John Terry wasn't the quickest, but then you put Ashley Cole and a Carvalho and a Makelele in front of him. You get what I'm saying? Bro. And that.
One sec.
Go on.
John Terry is probably one of the slowest centre backs you'll ever see, bro. John Terry was criminally slow, but it never came into his game. He had the right setup around him. If he had players who weren't playing right and left him exposed, a lot more goals would have got scored against him. Why do you think every time he was the mainstay and they brought in someone next to him good? They never made, how can I put it? They never made Terry. Terry was never the primary defender, if that makes sense. It wasn't all on John Terry. No, you'd have a Terry Carvalho. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You'd have a Terry.
It's partnerships. It's all about defending. Is as I said earlier, it's the only position on the pitch that is relying on partnerships. Individual centre backs can look incredible based on who they play with.
Yes.
And then they'll go somewhere else and just not work at all. The fact is, Maguire isn't a quick defender. We haven't got the quickest DMs. We've got moderately quick fullbacks. Therefore, we need a pacey centre-back to go with him. That's the system we've got. That's the piece that's missing.
Mm-hmm. And this is a great point.
Look at Madrid centre-backs. Sorry to cut you. Look at Madrid. Varane, rapid. Ramos, not so quick. Do you know what I'm saying? Barca, K's not so quick. That's why they tried to bring in Umtiti. It's not worked for him. They've got the Arajal from the youth team playing there. He's lightning fast. You get what I'm saying? The only league I can say where they don't really do that. Actually, yeah, they have done now. Juventus. So they realized that you can't have Chiellini and
Bonucci and
you know what I'm saying? And Barzali as they had a few years. These men are the only team I've seen play a back three, and their age was past 100, fam. And it was like Chiellini was like 32, other one was like 33, and the other one was 36.
You know what the difference is? That's just that Italian setup in it. There's something different out there in it. The way they defend is just something different in it. You know what I'm saying? It's that Italian magic going.
Well, here's the thing: they even clocked the play and went, "All right, yeah, come on. If we want to get so far in the Champions League, we now need to get a delict." So they've got a young one. Do you know what I'm saying? A young guy who can do his thing now, who's got the pace, and even that Demiral, who they've got now playing for him, he's very quick. Do you get what I mean? The whole thing of having like what people need to realize with centre backs is if both centre backs, they will have different attributes, but if they're not on the same level, one will bring the other down. Yeah, it's simple as that. One will bring the other.
Yeah, one isn't going to bring the other one up. One will always bring one down. Like
you've got cover for him. Well,
defending is too much as a position. It's far too much based on not making mistakes rather than going and making things happen.
Yes,
it's a negative position. You are just trying to make bad things not happen rather than making good things happen. It's entirely based on not making mistakes. So you have to look at it in that sort of negative point of view. You won't get a player that will make you better. The odds are, if a player next to you isn't as good as you, you will be worse because of the system. Again, it's about partnerships.
Here we go. And Fernie also says, why is Flawless always defending Maguire? He's shocking. No, see that? That's because I believe I think he has been shocking at times, but I believe the criticism of him is what I'm stating is over the top some of the time. If you look at the goals we conceded, okay, he's at fault for the third goal. Cool. What about the first goal? Where Lindelof's at fault, where De Gea's at fault, where Shaw's at fault. What about the second goal where I think Lindelof was at fault again? Who else was at fault? And there was a couple other players at fault. We're playing two DMs and we look defensively weaker. Make that make sense. The manager's at fault there. Where's the two DMs at? So this is my point is, yes, give Maguire smoke. I just want fair smoke for everybody. That's all it is. I just want fair smoke. Yes, Maguire's been poor. I don't think he is shocking. I think that is too strong of a statement. I think Phil Jones is shocking. But then again, we live in a reactionary place. You know what I'm saying? Go on, fam.
Here's the thing: what I don't understand about, I say this is the one transfer Ollie messed up for me. As much as I didn't have no faith in Smalling, I honestly believe Smalling is a better defender than Lindelof.
Yeah,
I will say that. Smalling is
Maguire and Smalling, I would be so happy with as a defensive partnership because Smalling isn't slow. Smalling isn't.
He's
slow.
at least he's quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, even though I don't believe he's good enough, at least he'll be there. He won't be. Someone said it. Yes, Maguire's been bad, but at least Smalling wouldn't be invisible. A lot of the time, I'm like, where I seen the still shot of that free kick. I'm like, where is Lindelof? I can see Axel. I can see Wan-Bissaka. I can see Maguire playing everybody on side. You're the senior centre back. Where are you?
He was stood in front of an Everton player. He was stood. People, right? This is what I'm trying to say. He stood in front of a player he's supposed to be marking. Yeah, on a free kick. Check this one out. If Lindelof, man is saying, "Oh, Maguire played them all on side." No, think about it. There's 3 men there. So even if Lindelof was in position, there'd still be another man free. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is why Maguire is now in that mode where he's like, "Oh my God, where's my man?" He's trying to compensate. Do you get what I'm saying? He's seeing three man. Literally, if you look where he's positioned, he's in his correct position as the left centre back. Yeah. If Lindelof is next to him as the right centre back, where the ball goes, where the goal is scored from, that goal doesn't happen because he's literally stood there. It could bounce off him. You know what I mean? The ball could literally bounce off him if he was in the correct position. This is what we're trying to say, people. People don't understand. You will only go, and here's the thing which does my head in as well. People will only go and listen to the criticism that's given from opposition players, people who played for opposing teams. Why do they want to make you think Maguire's good? Why would an ex-Liverpool guy, an ex-City guy, an ex-this and that want to give Maguire praise or want to prove that Maguire was not in the wrong? Why would they want to point out that Lindelof is actually the weaker one? They wouldn't want to do that. You know what I mean? So before you just go on the back of praise of people who hate your football club, think about it. How can I listen to the opinion of someone who hates my football club? If any of you in the comments now, if I stood in your face and then told you I hate you, would you care for what I say after that? No. So why do we listen to a Souness, this person, or that person who hates Manchester United Football Club with all their heart, and then when they go, "Oh, well, I'm being honest." No, you're not being honest. There's always going to be some sort of tint on it. Yeah,
there's a bias.
I tell you this one thing: when it comes to the Euros, we could have played the Euros. Yeah, Maguire could play 2 good games, and they'll be like, "Oh, he's totally different in English." You understand what I'm saying? He'd be cool again. Yeah, and then after the tournament, when he goes back, he'd be crap again, like they did with Beckham, Scholes. You know what I'm saying? Look at these players who they did this with for England. Even tried it with Rooney. You know what I'm saying? If Rooney didn't bust down the thingy, man will be telling you he was a flop for the all-time goal scoring. They'll tell you he was a flop for England as well. I've heard man say that. So here's what you need to understand. You can't always go off the back of the criticism, what's been put out there in the media. Do your own research. Do your own watching. Because for me, Maguire is nowhere near. Yeah, he's nowhere near as good. But like me and Flawless have said from the beginning, we didn't have him on this level. What these people had him on. Maybe until this guy's 80 mil, he's this, he's the Van Dijk. This no. Even before I knew how good. Even before we've seen, how good Van Dijk has become. We didn't concede to Jose because Jose parked the bus.
I was going to say that again. Systems and Manny. That's the thing is systems and partnerships, which Kovu's mentioned multiple times. All matter. Like I'm saying, if Maguire was sold tomorrow, I wouldn't be on here like, yo, we should have sold him, blah, blah, blah. Do I believe that he needs to be, the centre back next to him needs to be of his level or better is what I'm saying. But he's not good enough to be doing 2 or 3 people's jobs. He needs assistance. He needs help. So when people are like, why does he need to be babysat? Because he's not good enough by himself. He's not a Van Dijk who can play next to, say, a Gomez or a Lovren and still look good. Van Dijk's one of the best centre-backs in Europe. So, of course, Maguire's not of that level. But, yeah, go on, Kofi.
There's a couple of things I was going to say. First of all, on that surprising point, United had one of the best defenses in all competitions in Europe last season. Like, top 5 in Europe. So that says to me, the shift isn't necessary. That like last season, you can't go from being in that sort of scenario to then suddenly being trash. The difference is, for one, we're playing expansive attacking football. Last season, we weren't. We were sitting with loads of players behind the ball. We were sitting and playing counter-attacking football. This season, we're playing expansive. We're playing primarily
more attacking football.
More attacking football, siege football. We're primarily playing games in the other team's half for the majority of the game. Now, this is where a defender like Maguire, and there's a Paul Merson quote about it where he said it. He said, it's fine when you're playing defensively for Leicester and you're always behind the ball when you're playing counter-attacking. That's fine. Last season, that's what United played. We played counter-attacking football the majority of the season. It's why we didn't concede much. It's also why we didn't actually score anywhere near as many as we are this season in comparison. The reason for that is because the reason we are now suddenly a lot worse defensively is because we're having to defend other teams counterattacking us. We're having to defend when we're not defending the entire game. The system's disrupted. We don't have a thing of we defend the entire game, so we have a system to work with. There's a big difference in that. And it's why you look at because we can be got at, teams are finding ways to get through it. So you have to compare the overall situation as well, not just that scenario. Last season we played defensive football. It's going to be easier on defenders if you're playing defensive counter-attacking football. If you're playing out and out attacking football, it suddenly becomes harder for defenders when you suddenly have to switch on and you are being counter-attacked against. That's why in the system we're now playing, a speedy centre-back is essential. And that's hardly coming up anywhere. No one's mentioning the difference in the style of football we're playing. And that's why Maguire with a quick centre-back does work. But he just needs a quick centre-back. There's also a comment I saw on the right-hand side talking about name a class centre-back in the world currently who isn't fast. There's a ton. You look at Ramos. You look at I've literally made a list here of ones that I thought of. You've got Skirnier. You've got Longley. He's like okay. He's not super quick. You've got De Vrij, again, not super quick, like competent but not super quick. You've got Godin. You've got on this list as well. You look at the difference Thiago Silva has actually made defensively at Chelsea. The majority of their issues have been going forward rather than defensively. You look at Mats Hummels, again, top quality centre back, not quick at all. But all of these players. Even Nicolas Sula at Bayern Munich. But when you look at who Nicolas Sula is up next to, he's got Alaba next to him. He's got a quick centre-back next to him. You look at the players, you look at how City's set up. They've got Diaz and Stones, both not super quick, but moderately quick. There is a level of pace injected into that. You look at, again, you look at a good example is with Juve. You've got a quick centre-back with a super experienced, slower centre-back in Chiellini. As well as that, defenders get slower with age. Everyone gets slower with age. And that's why you need the younger, more aggressive, speedy player to go next to the experienced old head. That's how you organize a partnership. Anyway, that's me. That's me.
No, you spot on. I just want to get to this, and this is my point. So, Fawn, you said the first goal was at Maguire was at fault. Look how slow he was there. How are we going to fault someone for being slow? Like, he's running as fast as he can. Calvert-Lewin just ran off him. But this is what I'm talking about. How come there's no mention of Lindelof being out of position? How come there's no mention of De Gea dropping the ball, you get me, when he should have caught it? How come there's no mention of Shaw letting Decore run off the back of him? That's three people who are, to me, more at fault. I don't blame Maguire for that goal. But that's my point, is people overcompensate with Maguire because they don't rate him and blame him. Was he at fault for the third goal? 100%. Never going to hear me defend it. Was he at fault for the first goal? Absolutely not. De Gea dropped the ball. That's on De Gea. Shaw let Decore run off the back of him. That's on Shaw. But yet we're here talking about Maguire. Every goal we concede seems to be Maguire's fault and solely his fault and nobody else's. Go on, JV.
Here's the thing. Is this not the same guy who said, why do we need a fast defender? But then just said, my man's slow. Did he not just say that?
He said, why does he need a fast defender to babysit him? But yeah, that's the whole point, is because Maguire's not the fastest. Yeah.
So you're gonna ask, why does he need a fast defender next to him? But you're gonna say, look how slow he was running. Come on, people. Like, you know what I'm saying? As I can see there, you just don't like Maguire. If you don't like Maguire, just say it. You know what I mean?
You know what? And the thing is, you know who I rate for this? I don't think he's in there. Is Harris in it? Who told me when we spoke on this? You get me? And you'll catch him on football shows on here. I just don't like Maguire. So then when he's criticizing Maguire, I understand where it's coming from. Be honest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of Ollie. You know what I'm saying? But I try and be as balanced as I can. But if you see me maybe being a little bit more critical, it's because I know he's not a fan of him. You know what I'm saying? But I try and be balanced with it. You get what I'm saying in that? Why are we faulting Lindelof for being slow? We're not faulting him for being slow. I'm just faulting him for being passive. There's a difference.
There's a big difference between being passive and slow. There's a very big difference.
They're faulting him for just not being there. He's not being there. Oh, he's not being there because he's choosing not to be Manny. Manny, please, you're ManDem, you're a brother. Watch him. Watch him. Watch him. Watch every goal we concede and watch where he is positioned. Yeah, it's not even.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what makes defenders like Terry good. Defenders like Chiellini. That's what makes them so good because they aren't quick, but they aren't passive. They are moving, even though they realize they have to get going before the other person.
Yeah.
That's what a sign of a good defender is.
Why do you think? Why do you think, man, like Nestor and all these man played for so long at the top level? Maldini, even when the legs go, because it's about positioning. I'm telling you now, Lindelof will not be at a top team very soon. Because he's already what, like 27, is he? 28 maybe? What if his legs go and he decreases in any sort of pace, he'll be no use to anyone. He will, as I've said for a while when I watch him, if anything, with his passing range and all of that, he's a bit of a I've always said he looks to me like a defensive midfielder or something. Do you know what I mean? I've always said Lindelof to me doesn't look like he's not a natural defender. Do you know what I'm saying? He's reading the game, he can see it. But I don't think that he wants to do it. That's what I'm saying. He's not one of, like when you play Sunday League or you see them centre backs, they just want to smash, man. The certain centre backs, they're not caring about playing a nice pass. They want to put that in the stand. They want to smash you, put that in the stand, and then look at you on the floor. Get up.
Their primary thing is to, like you said, defend. They're not interested in, I think, who was it who mentioned it? Was it Troops? I think Troops mentioned it in a rant. I think he was talking about David Luiz, and he was like, David Luiz, I think it was after he made a mistake against City, or one of the many David Luiz mistakes. And he said, David Luiz would, one of the incidents, David Luiz would rather get an assist than a clean sheet because he's not defensively minded like that. Whereas a centre-back, like if you ask Bailly, he's gonna say a centre back. Like we speak on this, whether Bailly's at fault or not, he's always confrontational and trying to prevent things from happening. And that's one thing about Maguire. Do I believe Maguire is the be all and end all? Like I've said, no. I just defend him because I think people overly criticize him. Like for the first goal, that's not his fault. That's mainly on De Gea to me. De Gea drops the ball. De Gea catches that like he should do. We're not having this conversation. But De Gea drops the ball and somehow it's Maguire's fault.
Look at that one there. That just shows it. You know what? Yeah, like let's really deep. If Lindelof is that good, we don't go and buy Maguire.
Exactly.
If Lindelof is that good, we don't go and buy Maguire. It's as simple. I'm telling you right now, we will not buy. We will not buy for a few years now a very expensive left winger. Why won't we? Because we have Marcus Rashford. Do you understand what I'm saying? We might buy someone. We will not go out and spend 100 million on a left winger when we've got Rashford. We wouldn't.
That's a very valid point.
You know, he's the most valuable player in the world at this point.
Who? Rashford,
yeah, he's the most valuable player in the world.
Is that based on his DNA?
I don't know what the thing was, but it was based on his current trajectory, consistency, growth, age, output, basically based on what he offers and the league he plays in at the age he has and his rate of improvement. He is now valued as the most valuable player in the world. It was something like 190, I think it was. He's valued at.
Okay, probably because of his age, contracts, etc., etc. But I hear that. But yeah, Cameron says it there. What JV was saying in it, Maguire was bought in because Lindelof isn't good enough. And bear in mind, I'm a defend Ollie here. It's not like Lindelof is Ollie signing. The issue I have is Ollie's playing them together. Maguire, clearly, you look at Maguire, what's his obvious weakness? Pace. So put someone quick next to him. To me, that's not rocket science. You don't need a UEFA A or B license to figure that out. That's just me, though. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you need a DM in front of that. And as for the goalkeeper as well, let's get on to him because De Gea, I was highly critical of him last season. Pardon me. And I said before this season, I don't want him in goal. So I was like, I don't care if it's Henderson, if it's Romero. I want him even sold or on the bench. He started the season. He started well. He didn't really make mistakes. Then slowly he started to make mistakes. I look at the Ward-Prowse free kick against Ward-Prowse free kick at Southampton. I'm like, you're in the middle of the goal. You should really save that. Then I look at the Sheffield United one. That's on you. Then I look at the one also against the one against Everton, and I'm like, yeah, now you need to be dropped because you continue to make mistakes and get away with it. Even Calvert-Lewin's goal, be braver. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a goalkeeper. And we've seen him. We talk about Lindelof being passive. De Gea is just not brave. I remember 2 seasons ago when we was at Anfield and Van Dijk clattered into him and they scored a goal, but they got given a free kick. And I don't think it was a free kick, but be brave punching the ball out and looking away for it. You're a goalkeeper. Come out and smash everyone. I'm done with this goalkeeper. And like I said, I thought he had turned the corner this season, but with the mistakes he's currently making, he needs to be dropped. But it is what it is.
You know what? One thing I will say, I think it's time to go now. I'm not one to be like this, you know, but I think it's either time to sell him or
drop him. Let's
have an all-out war between Romero, Henderson, and Fingy, because I honestly think right now Romero is our best goalkeeper.
I agree on that. No, I don't. I think Romero is better than Henderson.
No, I think Romero. You give like what you have to understand about Romero is we've never actually gave him a good run of games. When Romero has a small run of games, he's exceptional. He's good. He's very good. Romero is an Argentinian, maybe not now, but when we got him in the first few seasons, Argentinian #1, even without.
He still is. I'm pretty sure he still is. It's him and Caballero somehow. Somehow Argentina don't have another keeper.
Now they've got one called Musso. I think he's trying. He's starting to think when they have like Copa Libertadores and all that. These teams don't tend to play the best 11s anyway, do they? But what I'm saying is, I think it's time now to put De Gea on the. De Gea needs to go on the bench for
him. Yes, multiple games, not just the FA. Sorry to cut you off. Not just FA Cup, and that goes for everyone. Maguire's playing poorly. Drop him. Lindelof's playing poorly. Drop him. Why is nobody held accountable for poor performances? Anyone who works anywhere, it doesn't matter if you're Manchester United Football Club, whether it's Foot Locker, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's Subway. If you are performing poorly at your job, you will get dropped or punished in some form of capacity. So why are Manchester United players not? De Gea's been poor. Now he's made multiple mistakes. Drop him. Maguire's made multiple mistakes. Drop him. Lindelof the same. Why is nobody dropped? Wan-Bissaka when he was playing poorly. Shaw for the long period of time, etc. We've seen this. McTominay when he's. How come nobody's dropped? Like, yes, will De Gea play today? Probably not. But dropped.
There's got to be something like a minimum amount of games played in contracting. There's got to be something. I don't think there's any team like United who keep playing players when they're out of form. Now, bear in mind, I don't have an issue with players playing through bad form. I don't have an issue with it because players will have bad form, and sometimes playing through it is the most important thing to do. I.e., with what's happening with Werner at Chelsea at the moment, he needs to keep playing because when he goes, he goes. Same. I think there'll be a point where he switches and goes.
You've been playing better actually on the teacher.
I don't think, especially with strikers, I think you have to keep playing strikers through bad form because as soon as you drop them, it gets worse. I think with keepers, a keeper of De Gea's sort of standing, what he has done for the club, arguably the best keeper we've had in regards to overall. He does rival Schmeichel for me in regards to his actual shot stopping ability and goalkeeping, not necessarily presence on the team, but as a stopper of goals going in, he's arguably in a similar conversation. Again, player of the season for United numerous times, arguably our best player during that sort of Moyes, Van Gaal, Jose period, arguably our most consistent player during that. I think this is probably his last season at a credible level, but one thing I will say for De Gea is we got so used to him being outrageously good. As United fans, we got so used to him being beyond exceptional. Like realistically, he was better than he should have been as our goalkeeper at the time. There was a sort of 4 or 5 year period where he was undoubtedly the best keeper in the world. He goes to any team. There was times where he saved us being mid-table purely through like stopping things he shouldn't have for sort of 15, 18 years. And I understand why he's been kept this season, despite Henderson coming back, because that is club loyalty. That's something I 100% back. I didn't think he should have gone this season. I think this for me has always been the season where he either drops down to second or goes to Spain and goes to a Sociedad or a Valencia or something like that. That's fine. I thought this season, it's fair that he has one more season whilst Henderson's there. Realistically, Henderson is picking stuff up from De Gea. There's no getting away from it. He's picking up techniques and shot-stopping things. That's happening on the training ground. What I think realistically next season, Henderson will be our starting keeper. I think from this point onwards, I think if you drop De Gea now, he doesn't have another like impeccable game for us. I think if you drop him if you drop a keeper after making a mistake and the sort of run of mistakes he's had, he then declines. And goalkeeping is a lot about confidence.
It is confidence, and with the goalkeepers we have, I'm cool with that. I'm cool if it's Henderson who goes in, if it's Romero who goes in, because yes, what you said there about him, he was unbelievable, world class for us. But there comes a point where, all right, you saved us then, but you're costing us now, and it's all like football. Unfortunately, is what have you done for me lately? And he was good. Like I got it completely wrong because, like I said at the start of the season, I didn't want him as a number one. He came in, he played well
this season.
He's played well, and I was like, go on.
No, I was going to say he's had some great performances this season. What I think the best thing to currently do is to transition this season so that Henderson is the starting keeper next season. I don't think Romero can be our starting keeper purely because if we do that, then Henderson never becomes our starting keeper. I think Romero will always be a number 2 at United. And I think realistically, Henderson wants that number 1 England spot. He's not going to get that unless he is starting for United week in, week out. I think that's next season because there's no one will ever be able to convince me that Henderson will ever be as good as De Gea was in De Gea's prime.
I don't think there's any keeper like that level was different. Yeah.
At the moment, I think Henderson will be an average Premier League keeper. I don't think he's particularly super special. I don't think he is the second coming. I think he is a Schmeichel height. I think the highest he will get is Kasper Schmeichel level. That's as good as I think he will get. And Kasper Schmeichel's a solid goalkeeper. I think there's a big thing in the Premier League. The Premier League tends to have the best array of goalkeepers in the world. It's the only position we always seem to have the best. Of any 20, if you go to a different league, look at all the goalkeepers, the Premier League tends to have the best 20 out of all. So I think he will be a solid, similar to an extent to how Van der Sar was. Van der Sar was never the best goalkeeper in the world. He was just solid. He wouldn't let you down. Goals that he wasn't supposed to save, he wouldn't save. But he'd come out and be brave and do the things a keeper's supposed to do to accommodate for that. I don't think Van der Sar was ever the best keeper in the world. I don't think he was ever, at United anyway, I don't think he was ever world class. I think he was just solid.
You don't think he was world class? I thought he was world class.
I don't think he was world class. No, I thought he was solid. I thought he was solid, and he had arguably the best defense the Premier League's ever seen in front of him.
World class. I don't think it was class at us. I think young Van der Sar, when he's like Juventus and all of that. When we played, I remember when we played against him and he was at Juventus, he was solid then. But obviously, you have to remember when he came to us, he didn't have age on his side. One thing I will say about Henderson is, what is this? Is this
that's the lineup. We'll get to that. Yeah. That's the lineup, but we'll get to that in a sec. Give us your thoughts on Henderson. 7:30 kick, innit? It's 7:30 kick.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, for me.
So before you go, people, we will be doing a watch along of the game on the channel as we always do, and the watch along will start at 7 p.m. So of course, all Manchester United watch alongs, all Manchester United games, the watch alongs always start half an hour before on the channel. So 7 p.m., which is like 25 minutes from now, we will be having a watch along on the channel. Obviously, Manchester United versus West Ham. But yeah, go on, JB.
Henderson. Yeah, he's just he's English player hype. I've not from what I've seen, I think Henderson could be giving Henderson that contract could possibly be one of the worst things we've done, because what we're not understanding is with De Gea, you do know you're going to get the mistakes, but you also know you're going to get periods.
You're going to get worldies. You're going to get saves that shouldn't be saved. You're going to get like little kicks and flicks that just shouldn't happen.
Yes. See that match the other day? Which one was it, Flawless? And I said if that was De Gea, he saves that. Was it the Liverpool one?
Liverpool one you're talking about when Salah scored.
See, Henderson, he's not very good with his feet, and I'm not talking this new age good with your feet where you can pass it. For me,
goalkeeping with your feet.
Yeah, goalkeeping with your feet. You need to be able to kick it. You know what I'm saying, or block it even. Sometimes even like Schmeichel used to do that weird star jump thing.
Yeah.
It was the clip against. I think it was. It's against Inter. Is it Camoranesi? Someone does the diving header and he just goes, "Bruh," and it just like
Zamorano. I think it was
Zamorano. It was Zamorano. Yeah,
he just goes and then like De Gea's got that, but De Gea's got his one where it's almost like a slide tackle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can
the splits.
The ball, he does the splits and he gets it away. With this kid, if it's anywhere near his legs, it's a goal. So for me, with Henderson, I'm very, very wary on this guy because
before we continue, how old is Henderson? Just a side note.
23, 24, I think. He's not young.
Okay. He's not young yet. Okay, just ask him.
He's older than De Gea was when De Gea came to United. I think De Gea was like 21 when he came in as our starting goalkeeper, which is that's the thing. Another thing with De Gea is he has been playing. He's similar to Rooney. He started young. He was first team from a young age, which doesn't tend to happen for goalkeepers. It's rare, like genuinely rare. You will get a starting keeper at his level at 21, 22. Usually it's about 25, 26, 27 when you start to see it.
It's just him and that what can I pronounce his name? The Italian guy is
Donnarumma.
That's it.
That's what I mean.
He's out of contract in the summer.
See, here's the thing. This is what I'd say. Yeah, you know, things like that. I'd actually say if we get rid of De Gea, I'm sorry, you can't then go and say I'm going to put all my faith in this kid, because essentially in football, in sense of top games, this guy, right? Don't get me wrong, he's been at Sheffield United. Yeah, he might have played some good games against Premier League teams, against the top 6, whatever. He's got no European experience. I would not want to. All right, then. Say we do win the league this season. Yeah, it's not going to happen. But say we do win it, and we go into the Champions League as league winners, and you've got rid of De Gea. You telling me you want to see Henderson go to the Bernabeu or something like that? Newcastle? No, bro. Let's be real. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, even with De Gea how he is right now, even with De Gea how he is, I know if we go to one of them, he's going to do some. He's going to keep us in this game. You know what I mean? He will have a mistake in him, but De Gea will keep us in certain games. With this kid, I'm not too confident. For me, it's like getting rid of. You don't like De Gea is someone who was
He's very similar to Bruno. He's very similar to Bruno in that. No, that's the wrong way. That's not what I meant. I was going to make the comparison that he's similar, that you can expect the mistakes, but you will get magic. But I feel Bruno is a lot less. Bruno makes a lot more mistakes than he does magic. Even though I love Bruno to pieces, Bruno he is a highly wasteful player who comes up with moments of magic. De Gea isn't. But it's more, you'll get a couple of mistakes, but you'll also get moments of magic. For the best part, it'll be fine.
I understand what you're saying. That's the point I'm making. I don't know what this kid's going to do yet.
And you know what it is? That's what it is with me. I'm like, because I know with De Gea, we're going to get mistakes. That's why I'm like, move on. I'm not like on the Henderson hype train, like, yo, get him into the dirt. I just want to see someone else. Like I said, I don't care if it's Henderson, Romero, we go out and get another goalkeeper, which we won't. I'm just done with De Gea at this point.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Mistakes for like 3-4 years now. Like, it's time. Yeah. In the words of Claude, it's time to go. It's a wrap, fam.
I'm saying
I think end of this season, I agree.
If we get rid of De Gea, I think we have to go and buy another world. We have to go and look at
which won't happen.
It won't happen.
And that's why I say you might as well keep him then, because this guy is not the answer. Henderson is.
You don't think he's the answer?
Okay. Henderson right now is not the answer. Henderson is, like you're saying, he's 23, bro, and he's still, check this one out. He's not even as good as De Gea was when he was 20, when he was that age.
He's nowhere near as good as De Gea was.
Nowhere near. De Gea, what we have to understand, De Gea didn't come to us and develop them worldly saves at us. He had that. The only thing that De Gea, and he's kind of gone back to it, is he's gonna be
his physicality is what he developed. He developed physicality.
Yeah, he developed it, and it's like it's gone again. I don't know if it. Sometimes,
and you know what? You know why that's bad? Because that's not a technical thing. It's not like all of a sudden the positioning's bad. That's just the mentally. Yeah, just being brave, and you've had it. But let's get to just the lineup quick, and we'll get everyone's prediction. So big up my Don Cameron as well in it. Make sure you follow him across all his socials. He says, so we got Henderson in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Tellers, Matic, Fred, Donny in the 10, and then you've got Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. I'll just give my thoughts on it quick. I like that team. Don't like Maguire and Lindelof. I don't know why you've not switched that up considering just what happened. And this is my whole point about accountability. Wan-Bissaka maybe could have got a rest. Henderson in goal makes sense. Matic in there with Fred is cool. Happy to see Donny in the lineup. Hopefully Martial gets another goal. Rashford, Greenwood makes sense, and I expect us to. I think we should win this game. I do, for the most part, minus the centre backs. I like the lineup. I would say. Go on, JB. Give us your thoughts on it quick.
I just want to say quickly: is Diallo on the bench? Because I heard
he is. I don't know.
He was at the hotel. He was at the hotel. I saw a picture of him and Ollie this morning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was there with him, weren't he? Let me know quickly. Is Diallo on the bench? But like I'm saying, that's a very good lineup.
I like that team. I like that team.
It is, but one thing for me, I would have thrown Romero in there because because he's brought Romero back into the squad, hasn't he, for the second season? For me, we've not got any like smaller games now. This is not a smaller game, but do you get what I mean in terms of it's a cup game? So I would have thrown Romero in because you've already give Henderson a run. But that shows to me that Henderson he's going to turn to Henderson now, and I think that's more because of the pressure of the contract he's giving him. Do you get what I mean?
Spirit of 99. Spirit of 99. Badginess. That's what that is.
I just think. I honestly. All right, then. Well, you know what it is with Henderson as well. I'm not too wise on how he is with the physicality. This might be one of the worst matches to put him in.
Well, you know what?
Antonio, by the way, I'm saying no Antonio.
Antonio. One thing about that though, JV, is all the questions that we are asking about him. The reason why I want him to play is because we're gonna find out. That's what it is. I'm like, okay, I've heard you're good, you have potential, blah, blah, blah. I hear what you're saying. I've not seen enough of him to make an accurate assessment of him. But I'm like, all these questions, like, can you deal with the physicality? Can you go to the Bernabeu away? Can you go to Anfield away and deal with it? How consistent are you? Are you good with your feet? How good are you coming up? We're going to see you week in, week out. You're Manchester United #1 goalkeeper, for instance. You're under the microscope. See how Maguire is now under the microscope. Every player who plays for us is under the microscope. But if you're a #1 starter for us, i.e. Maguire, if that becomes Henderson, we're going to find out. But yeah, Kovu, give us your thoughts on the lineup before we close out the show.
I think realistically, we are going to struggle down the left. I don't think Telles offers us much in a game like this. We don't have the height. So what Telles is on the pitch to do is to cross the ball, essentially, and have that extra bit of delivery. We don't have a very tall team here. Matic isn't going to be bursting in the box. I'm pretty sure Matic is in that team entirely to deal with Soucek. That's the reason I think he's there. Yeah. Fred's pretty much playing box to box by the looks of things. We've got Van der Beek, I'm assuming, playing Cam because Ollie thinks he can only play as Cam.
I hope he's playing 10.
So then you've got Greenwood on the right. I think we might see something special from Greenwood. I think we're going to be. I'm not super keen on Telles playing this game. Realistically, I think West Ham are they're a big physical team, and we haven't really got anything in the air. This is the thing. I've never understood why you would start Telles when Cavani's not playing. That makes no sense to me. Martial isn't a header of the ball. This is a game where you want intricate balls being played into the box and beating people. This is a game where you want Shaw, Rashford and Martial playing, because this is a game where they can offer things. Cavani has shown he's probably our best attack heading player of the ball for crosses. Yes. So why wouldn't you play Cavani in a game like this where you've got the balls coming in from Telles? This is a game where you want intricacy realistically to beat them, because we're not going to beat them in the air. You want intricacy in and around the box. Yes. This is a game where you want. I can understand Van der Beek playing for that reason. This is a game where you want Shaw down the left rather than Telles, or if you're going to go for the crosses, you put them to someone that's going to win in the air. So you would go Telles and Cavani or Shaw and Martial. That's the system that works for me. It's going to be interesting to see how Rashford runs around with this one as well. I think Rashford's due a goal. I think Rashford's due a bit of a screamer. I think Greenwood's due a goal. It'll be interesting to see. I would expect Martial to get either an assist or a goal in this game, but again, without Shaw cutting in, if we're just going to be playing crosses into the box down the left, I don't know. I genuinely don't know how that's going to work. But I can understand the midfield. I can understand the midfield quite a lot. Bruno needs a rest. I think Fred is pretty much just going to be running around as much as possible. Matic covering Soucek on the charge. And no Antonio, so we haven't really got the pace to worry about defensively. So I can sort of understand Lindelof and Maguire, because they haven't got to worry about the pace.
I would have just rested him after that game anyway, or drop rest, whatever in it. But it is what it is, isn't it? Like, even though there is a lack of pace in it, but it is what it is. Yo, and Zayn said it here. Sorry to cut you off, Kofi. Declan Rice, my boy, will prove you wrong, flawless, said Zayn. I'm gonna be watching him very closely. I presume he's starting. If he's starting, I'm going to be watching him very closely.
They've got Rice, they've got Soucek, they've got Rice defensively, they've got Soucek who is going to be playing defensively. This makes no sense to start Telles. I'm really struggling to see what Telles offers other than crossing, because we aren't as good when Shaw doesn't play in regards to fluidity. He's not a very fluid player down the left-hand side. His thing is crossing. That's his thing. His thing is delivery and just generally getting the ball into those places. I would be very surprised if Cavani doesn't come onto this game or Luke Shaw doesn't come into this game, because for me, the matchup of Shaw and of Tellez and Martial doesn't really work. I think it's Shaw and Martial works, and Tellez and Cavani works. That's me on that.
I get your point, but yeah, people, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed this. You will see Kovu back on there very, very soon, and that, like I said,
very knowledgeable.
Yeah, man, I've enjoyed it too. And the only reason why I hadn't hit you up sooner, because I know you've been super busy, as have I. When you hit me up on that day, and I was like, wow, man's not had COVID one. All right, let's pattern it. That's why I just DM'd you that after that tweet and was like, yo, jump on Tuesday. But make sure you follow him across his socials. You can see it there, Kovu, CUBKXVU. It's on the Twitter as well. I'm gonna add his YouTube channel to the title, but Cubcam TV is him. Any lasting words before we leave out?
Martial's the best centre forward we have at the club. That's me.
Hey, let's go. I love that. JV, anything you saying before we leave?
I'm saying the match is on BBC. I didn't even know, yo. I love it when the match is on, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I love it. I love it, fam.
Yeah, man. It's like, that's why the Champions League needs to come back to ITV. It's that.
Oh, if only.
I missed that.
It's that, man. It's just not the same feel, but we ain't gonna go down.
I need to hear that commentator, bro.
Clive Tildesley. That's who we need to see.
Bro.
Legend. Legend. Yeah, I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
How have Sky or BT not snapped him up?
No idea. No idea.
Everything changes. I won't lie. I missed the Premiership show on ITV. That was that intro.
I was saying this the other day, bro.
That intro.
JP said this. But yo, before we go down memory lane, love to everyone who's locked in. If you're watching this live right now or you're watching this back, hit the like button on the video. Please hit the like button on the video. Share it across all your socials. Subscribe to Sarcasm City TV. It's now rolled to 2,500 subs. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And we're back in 10 minutes. Live watch along Manchester United versus West Ham FA Cup 5th round. We don't stop. You know what I'm saying, on Sarcasm City TV. So head over to that video right now, people. Everybody who's on this one in the comments, get over there. Everyone who's watching, get over there. Hit the like button in it. I want to see at least 5 to 10 likes. So head over there. And this has been the ManDem United podcast on Sarcasm City TV. Thank you.